Okay, hello, welcome to the next video. So I'm, where were we? The last video was looking at the cockpit, but now I think I'm gonna have a bit of a go at some of the decal work for the instrument panel. So I'm just gonna very quickly go through a few items that I've got lined up, and then I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do, and then I'll switch off the film, do the work, and then come back and show you, see if it works. So what I was waiting on was my Maggie lamp to arrive, which has, so this is quite good, provides excellent illumination. It has a magnifying glass, and it's on the end of an arm that very, very conveniently moves like so. So it's very positionable. So I'm going to be using that. Now I've got the light on, we can actually see what we're doing. So what my objective is to, here is the instrument panel. Here is the set of decals. Here is the instrument panel decal. Now what I'm thinking of doing is cutting out each individual one of these and placing them on individually rather than the whole piece, because I think that will actually look a lot better, but it's going to be a shit ton more work to do. So what do I have lined up in terms of the tools to do? So this is why I was waiting for my magnifier to arrive. So we have a scalpel blade to essentially cut out the pieces. I have, let's cover that up. I have some forceps, very superfine jeweler's forceps that actually I've, from my dissecting kit, which I have, a dissecting kit. I've got a very fine needlepoint probe, which may come in useful. I'm not sure I'll use these, but these are a pair of micro scissors, which may be useful, who knows. And then of course, a brush here. So what else do I have in terms of equipment? I've got my very small pot of water for the decals. And I have got my Micro Scale Industries Micro Set and Micro Sol for setting the decal into position nicely. Not super critical to apply decals, but they assist in softening the decal and molding it to surfaces, giving that more sort of embedded, painted on look. So the idea being to cut out each of the individual dials, soak them in some water, apply some Micro Set to the respective part of the instrument panel, then apply the decal, a little bit more Micro Set, and then a little bit of Micro Sol, and then yeah. So super complicated, but he is hoping that the bit of an experiment for me. I haven't done this particular method before. I've usually just slapped them on, but they always look just a little bit dodgy for my liking. So if all goes well, there'll be a video showing you the results of the first one, and possibly if it works well, then I'll do a video showing the process from go to where I'll put the camera in the mount, and we'll see how we go. But first of all, I just wanted to explain what I was planning to do, and then, like I say, if all goes well, there will be a follow-up video showing the fruits of that particular labor. Okay, so yeah, catch you then. Okay, welcome back. So here we are, back with the finished result of the first dial. So I did this one. Where are we? Right here. Now this particular dial is, let me just make sure I get this correct. What was it again? It's the fuel and oil pressure gauge. Now, not quite sure how well this will focus, but I think you can see it's worked quite well, as a matter of fact. In the process of setting the decal, a little bit of the red and a little bit of the yellow has actually rubbed off in the process of doing it. However, I don't mind that because that looks like a little bit of extra wear on the color. So what I found really very useful was this. This is a micro pin on the end of a matchstick. As you can see here, very, very good micro tool. And I found that cutting out the square piece from the original decal and then putting it on there with the micro sole and the micro set, or the micro set and then the micro sole, and then very gently pushing down with the brush, kind of like so, just pushing in the center of the dial, really pushed the actual dial face right into the recess very, very nicely and left the edge. Initially I thought it wasn't going to work because I thought the edge was not going to, I thought it was just going to stay quite flat, but it really did recess in. I'd really like to get a macro photo once it's all done with my camera and then see if I can put that up. But I think first up, it seems like this is going to be a good technique to use. It's very fiddly, but it certainly gives, I think, a really nice result. So I'm going to have another go, and then I'll see. Then I'll come back and I'll show you what the result is of that one. Hopefully, it works just as well. Phew. Okay. All right. Well, that's the next dial done, which is in this case the fuel gauge. So this is the one which has just now been applied. And you may not be able to see quite well enough, but again, the dial has been depressed into the there we are, into the actual recess, and the sort of the yellowish outer section is on the surrounding part there, and that's actually quite nicely molded in there, again with the help of the microsole and the microset. So again, we've lost a little bit of the yellow color around the decal, but honestly, I don't think there was that much yellow there to begin with, so we haven't lost really that much. I found it was a bit tricky to set up the camera and actually demonstrate a live action sort of process as to how I did it. I might give it a go when I do some of the other ones, but I'm going to call it a night on this one because it's getting a bit late. But yet, I think the overall effect is good. It prevents the extra decal from going in between here, and we can then go over this once the decals are all on. We can then go over and do a little bit of sort of micro weathering and wear and tear on the instrument panel, which will hopefully then we'll be able to address any kind of imperfections in the decal application process at that point. But yeah, so I think that's probably taken about half an hour to do each of those. So I reckon that's probably another probably about another 2 or 3 hours worth of work on this little baby before all the decals are applied, because the one thing you can't do with this is rush it. Particularly with the application of microsole and microset, these things become extremely fragile and will tear at just the slightest misstep. So yes, it's going to take some time. But I think, like all these things, should be worth it in the end if we put the effort in at the beginning. Alright, until next time.